We all want to feel confident about the things we do in life, right? Well, sometimes that is easier said than done. Author Lisa Bilyeu shared with Amity how she works on quieting that inner negative voice, and her new book, Radical Confidence, 10 No BS Lessons on Becoming the Hero of Your Own Life.
I really did write Radical Confidence because everyone was asking me how I went from being stuck for 8 years, not living the life that I truly wanted, to then building multiple companies and being the person I am today. And everyone's like, Lisa, I need your confidence. Like, please teach me about confidence. And Amity, like, seriously, I'm like, who are they talking to? Because if you heard how negative the voice in my head is, how often it tells me I'm no good, I shouldn't start anything because I'm going to fail, then you wouldn't think that I had confidence. So I really did stop and say, what are the things that people are actually seeing that they perceive to be confidence? And what I realized it was actually radical confidence. It's the fact that I am scared completely. I am utterly inadequate sometimes onto taking on new challenges. But what they see is that I do it anyway, that I take the action. And that, to me, is what radical confidence is.
I love that. Thank you for having that bravery to share that vulnerability on those negative voices. How do you shut them up?
Oh, girl, I tried to for so many years. Everyone was like, you need to speak nicely to yourself, shut her up, you shouldn't be mean. And I really, really tried and I couldn't. And so now I just started beating myself up over the fact that I couldn't even shut down the negative voice, right?
Exactly.
And so it became this double whammy. It became this double whammy. So I'm such a person I'm so goal oriented, and I'm like, if this doesn't serve me, how do I pivot? And so I recognized that the negative voice was kind of like my kryptonite. And so if it was my kryptonite, how can I see it as my superpower? How can I pivot this idea and this notion to actually serve what I'm trying to do? And what I realized was, what if, instead of it being the mean girl in my head, what if it was my best friend? What would that look like? And so what I did is I just played the game of like, what does a best friend do? A best friend is honest with you. A best friend tells you the hard things, even when you don't want to hear it. So I realized actually the negative voice in my head is telling me not to do things because it's trying to protect me. It's telling me, don't do that, Lisa, you're going to fail. And because I'm here to protect you, I don't want you to fail because I don't want you to embarrass yourself. So, okay, bestie, what it's trying to warn me is that I might fail. And that's the message. So what I ended up doing is taking the message and using it as a way to motivate me and move me forward. I literally took the voice in my head that was my critic, and she became my coach.
I love that. And is that how you moved toward that radical confidence?
Absolutely. So it was like, oh, you're scared? What are you scared of? That you're not going to be prepared? Okay, Lisa, then get prepared. So this one fear that would hold me back, I took the message, I then took it into an action step, move forward, get prepared, do X, Y, and Z. And that was exactly what allowed me to just keep propelling forward and not let my emotions of the fear of failure actually hold me back.
I think that's genius. Okay, so I'm going to start treating the negative voices like the best friend, the overcautious best friend.
Yeah.
But what would you say to someone who needs to find radical confidence? What if they don't even know it yet?
So I think so many people say to me, I really want confidence. And the very next thing I say is, what you're focusing on, you want to feel good about something. But instead of focusing on that, what do you want confidence for? Because the confidence becomes the byproduct of taking action. So instead of focusing on that, focus on the goal. So most people say, well, I want confidence so I can, change careers, or I want confidence so I can tell my partner I'm not happy in this relationship, or I want confidence to tell my parents this thing that I've been studying for 3 years and now in college there, I actually don't want to do anymore, and I want to be a stand-up comic, right? It's always the confidence to do something. So that's really the first key. Is I just urge people to see what that goal is. And now it becomes, that's the focus. And if you can then come up with a game plan to start taking action, over time, those action pieces start making you competent. Yeah. And over time, it's the competence that gains you confidence.
Okay. And you mentioned that you were the CEO of several companies. You co-founded Quest Nutrition. I've eaten many a Quest bar in my day. Yeah. How did you gain that competence to create that confidence? What was the experience like in finding that company?
So yeah, when you're growing at 57,000%, it left me options to either run and hide or to figure it out. And so I went from shipping bars of my living room floor one day, we're growing at 57,000%. So before I knew it, we have I'm shipping out of a garage. Next thing you know, we've got our first facility. Next thing you know, I've got 10,000 square feet of shipping, and we're shipping out $80 million of inventory. Every step of the way, girl, I had no idea what I was doing. I had been a stay-at-home wife for 8 years. I was putting clothes out and cooking for my husband. I was a very traditional Greek wife. So just to give people context of where I started from. So every time as we were growing, and I was being the good Greek wife at the time, just supporting my husband, and I faced an obstacle, like, for instance, the UPS guy saying to me, you know what, you can actually ship a lot more boxes if you put them on a pallet. Well, Amity, I had no idea what a pallet was. Yeah. So in those moments, I'm like, I can feel the fear. I can feel inadequate and not move forward, or I can actually go and figure it out.
I'm already feeling more confident.